Hey, so how do thyroid medications compare to one another? What if you wanted to change from one to the next? How do they line up? This chart tells you all of it. I'm going to skip the far left column for right now. The next group over to the right of that, natural desiccated thyroid, there's 3 columns under that. The far left one shows the grain units. Then we have Armour and NP and Advisa. So they're different in terms of the inactive ingredients. They're also different in terms of the potency. So if you notice what's called a 1 grain dose in Armour is 60 milligrams, and in Advisa it's 65 milligrams. They're both the same potency. They just happen to express that in different milligrams. So the grains is where the relative potency matters. Now then we can look at T4 only medications, the next group of columns to the right. There's many brands, Levothyroid, Levoxyl, Synthroid. There's others that I didn't include. They're pretty similar. So if you go down the row, that shows different potencies available. Not all potencies come from all brands, but these are the ones that are currently made. And you can see how they line up compared to the potencies of natural thyroid. And you can also see within T4, there's Tirosint. And Tirosint makes a lower potency, 13 microgram, and it's different in terms of not having the same inactive ingredients. And it doesn't make a 300 microgram potency. Now the far right column, you'll see T3 only. This is Cytomel. Now, this is not meant to be a standalone therapy. T3 is not meant to be used by itself, but it can be combined with T4. Pretty rarely, if ever, would you combine it with natural thyroid. It's already got a lot of T3, but this just shows the relative potency of T3 compared to the others. So yeah, the rows, each thing on the same row is relatively the same potency. And empty columns mean there's nothing made in that potency in that type of medication. So that's what the gaps refer to. And when I say the rows are relative similar potencies, please take that with a big grain of salt, because these are different categories of medications, especially going from like natural to T4 to T3. So these are approximate potency equivalencies, but there's many cases to where someone will be, say, on 100 micrograms of T4, and they change to 65 milligrams of Advisa. And even though it's relatively the same, it might be far too much for them, or it can be far too little. That happens too. So what about the yellow, orange, and red? Briefly on that, these are potencies that are higher and higher and higher and less commonly needed. So if someone's on a higher potency, it's often that they're overdosed or they're not absorbing or it's not necessary. But yeah, the higher potencies, those more scary colors, are just less commonly needed. So this is the comprehensive thyroid medication guide.